3, 2,
Oh
1.
wait,
What?
how about Instagram? I forgot.
Instagram. Go do it, Bam.
Where is it?
We're already live.
Oh, we're live already?
Yeah, we are.
Oh well.
And I don't have battery in my phone.
Oh, I don't know where my phone went.
Okay, go run.
Forget.
Go run to get your phone right now. Okay.
Where is it?
We're live and this is a real show. You can see. We're very rehearsed and we're very professional. We're gonna go. Kevin went to go run off to go get his phone because we just want to stream. We want to go live on Instagram. But good morning. This is the second episode of Pass the Aisle, but we're gonna wait. Actually, I'm not gonna get started yet. Woo, rewind. Take it back. Take it back. Rewind. So we're trying a different thing here where I've actually told people that we're going to go live today. I don't know. But yeah, it is on your desk, silly. You ran all the way up there, Ben. Now you're really hot. Okay.
Oh shoot.
We have a new setup too. Well, it's not. It's just modified. It keeps getting better. Yuri says hi. Hi, Yuri. Finally, I could say hi to you.
Hi, Yuri.
Okay. And catch you this time. Now that I figured this out. Every time we come on, I'll be like,
Here.
I figured this out.
I don't know where to go.
What do you mean you don't know where to go? All right. Go live. How should I do? Switch the camera.
Right here.
Okay.
Is that one? I don't know if that works.
No?
Yeah, forget it.
Forget it.
Sure. Yeah, that works. Oh, but you're not in it. Why is it so cropped?
Because it's vertical, but people want to watch vertical. Shut up, Siri! What the? Okay. All right. We are live. I'm not in it. I'm not. I'm right here. Okay, that's cool.
If you sat right here, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. You're going to be in the background. So, hi.
Hi.
If you want to watch with us, if you're on Instagram and you want to watch with us, actually I have a watch page on our Facebook page. And how you can engage with us is to be on the YouTube and actually type in the chat and stuff, like our friend Yuri.
Cool.
So welcome to a second episode of
Pass the Aisle.
Yeah. So how are you?
Good, good. So it's raining right now.
It's raining now.
Yeah, I had to postpone our engagement session that was supposed to be today. It was a green screen session in our studio where the clients wanted a save the date.
Green screen?
Yeah, green screen where, I mean, they're into Avengers, so they wanted like a Avengers background, and they made custom like cosplay. Basically, he's going to be Captain America.
But you're going to be in the studio. Why did you cancel it?
Well, because afterwards we're going to go out.
We're going to go out?
No, I'm going to go out to Laguna Beach afterwards. So I'd rather have everything in one day versus 2 days. And
I thought you were
it
going to
saves
take
them
Chi out.
costs as well.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what has happened since the last show?
So we were able to build our home gym.
Yeah.
Which was was it a big project in your experience?
I mean, I guess.
It took about, what, 3 days?
It was
4
a
days?
process. No, there's all the time that I spent cleaning it.
Oh, that's right.
And getting shit ready.
So that's about...
While you were working.
So that's about... How many? Like a week.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like little by little, like, okay, we don't need this. Okay, we don't need this. Try to sell this or organize this or whatever.
So it was quite a process while I was shooting weddings, and you were fixing up the garage, trying to clean it up for our handyman. Shout out to Steve, right?
It's not done yet.
It's almost done.
We still have the flags to
Oh yeah, flags, and we're going to put a mirror right in front of the squat rack. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the home gym, which what did you name it?
Well, we named it after your show, which is Hustle and Love.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt it was like perfect because we do hustle, and I do hustle in the gym. And we have one member, which is Tony. So Tony comes over, he knocks on my garage, I open the garage, he comes in, and we start doing P90X.
Yeah.
So usually how our workout routine is, we do P90X for 1 hour, and then afterwards we go into the KLV plan, which is a full body workout.
The KOV plan.
Yeah, that's what he calls it.
I see.
Yeah, normally we're trying to just target cardio, just because it's the winter and we tend to eat a lot, and I feel like we're in like hibernation mode, kind of cozy, just want to keep eating.
Yeah.
So cardio is like the best tactic to try to maintain your weight throughout this winter.
I see. Yeah. I'm not interviewing you for your gym.
All right, so I'm going off tangent.
I'm gonna keep reminding you to be real with me on this platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's see that initial like thing to be like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, I want to really try to nip that in the bud for the both of us.
Yeah.
Because for sure, I'm guilty number one of being that way, where I try to put on a face or a persona for YouTube or for making content, and it is really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Like you just do it kind of like it's almost natural to be not yourself when you're being recorded, which is a weird thing because you should just be yourself, right?
Yeah.
But like I totally get it. Like it's weird, but I'm just gonna keep calling us out when we're being a little too like, I don't know, when I feel like we're not being authentic. Like, I know you're excited about your gym for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I would urge you to create the content for us.
Yeah.
And not for somebody going, how do I make a gym?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they could ask that question, but I think it's a weird track to focus on.
Yeah.
For yourself and for me too. Like, I'm not making this content for other people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this podcast is about marriage, right? And it was really cool because I launched a Facebook page about Pass the Aisle to just of like, like, well, I invited you to like it.
I didn't see it.
Okay, whatever. So these are all the things, like, this is kind of funny because I'll do all these things in the back end, but you don't notice them. So it's up to me to be like, hey, look, here's what's going on. And this relates back into our business because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the back end, but they're not like obvious things. And they only make things better like when you string them together in a chain.
Yeah.
It's not like a drastic thing. It's not like me shooting. Like, it's not it's not an obvious display of my work in the business. So I have to be better about letting you know what I'm doing. That way you can actually be like, oh, cool, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it feel like I'll get in my own head and be like, notice me. And I'm doing all this shit, right? I'll be like, notice me. And I was like trying to analyze myself and go, why am I like that? And that's probably goes back to many things. But it's like, hey, but I'm not saying it directly. It's like an indirect thing. It's like passive. So I want to stop that. I want to be better at that, where I'm more proactive about letting you know what I'm doing, so that I don't feel like, hey, you're not noticing what I'm doing, right? Because otherwise you'll be like, I didn't know. Like, if I didn't tell you that I cleaned up the garage, you'd be like, oh, this looks kind of clean, cool. But I didn't tell you what it took to do it. Right? And then I'd be like, hey, why didn't you notice? I think a lot of women are like that. So I think this podcast,
which is true. I mean,
right?
If I didn't tell you the mats weighed 110 pounds,
I would be like, you can fucking do it. Yeah. So I wouldn't be like inclined to help you.
Yeah, I get
right? Otherwise, you know, that night where I was like kind of upset that you want to focus on the gym or you didn't want to like, I felt like you weren't seeing what I was like doing, and then like I got upset because yeah, you're like so excited about the gym, and I was like, dude, I'm helping you with all this other shit. Like, let me do my yoga or let me do my thing
it.
that I prioritize you. And then you're like, dude, these things weigh 100 pounds or whatever. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. Like, I can put aside my stuff because now I know, like, you need help because you told me. So I need to be better about that too, where it's not like just assuming like you know. So I think it's gonna be and that's a similar thing throughout women. We like to just go,
Yeah, I
don't
guess
you
it's
see?
it's
Don't
a two
you see?
it's a two-way street. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah, like I have to let you know as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in a nice way, right? So I think, and I was trying to analyze why I was getting upset about something and trying to dig in deeper as to I'm not upset about you having a gym.
Mhm.
I'm upset about like the fact before this was before, and I was like trying to analyze it and like what I could bring to this show was like, whoa, like, I
What's
see.
it?
Go
Oh yeah,
ahead.
what's the topic?
No,
Like,
it's just going like, dude, this is a reoccurring thing in our
oh.
marriage.
So the past the aisle is just open.
Yeah, just
Oh,
open.
okay, okay.
Like, well, dude,
I was
like this just happened, right?
Yeah.
Like this just happened, and I was like, I want to obviously get better in my communication and my role in my marriage, whatever. So if I were to look at what we just went through with a small thing about Steve being here and all that stuff, right? And I was like, okay, it's not only you having that habit that you were like, oh, I don't have time to da, but it's also my habit to be like, to not ask for help in the right way, or to not not put forward my what I want. Not put forward what I'm trying to say or communicate, right? To you. And then instead just getting mad. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, we both have this habit that we need to break. It was a curbs moment. But we didn't say curbs. Curbs.
Yeah, we haven't said that.
We
in
haven't
a
said
while.
it, right? So we're falling back, I think, into our old ways of the easy thing, which is not to communicate to each other. So that's why I think this thing is so great, because it like just makes us more accountable, and like I just want to be better at it. Like I don't want to feel the way that I feel, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to make you feel that way. I'm like, well, it's a vicious cycle, so we have to interrupt the pattern, right? So I think that's what happened, and that's what we did. And I want to thank you for being like, you changed a lot quickly. You just flipped the switch too. It was harder for me to come back and like forgive and like not feel hurt anymore, which I'm going to also work on. But like you said, you're like, oh, I'm facing I'm facing it, right?
Yeah, I'm facing challenges like
All the time.
all the time. I mean,
But this challenge
Yeah.
in particular, which seems small, but actually no, it's like a string of things that I think it bleeds into a lot of other challenges that we have in our marriage. So I was like, cool, like that shows me that you're doing the real work, which is little things like that, which I do appreciate. Or even yesterday when you tagged me about an idea that I had about your Costco shoot, and I was like, wow, you never do that. Which I appreciated it, which it showed me that you're actually putting action to the words that you're saying, like, oh, I want to be better about including you and being a team player
yeah.
and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I did not ask you to do that. I did not have to say anything. I did not have to be like, hey, why didn't you give me credit? But like before. And I was like, cool, this is awesome. So I want to say thank you, like publicly. I mean, I already said thank you.
Yeah.
But I think it gives more like oomph when I could say it here too.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I asked you for ideas for the session, they were your ideas.
But you never did that before. So there has been a change in you
Yeah.
where you're before not that you did it on purpose, but you would often just forget to mention, like somebody else helped you with an idea or helped, like not just me, other people too. So I was like, well, why is that? I know you're not doing this to like be mean, but it feels mean, and it probably feels mean to other people if they know that you didn't include them or whatever. So when you give credit, I think that just even when it's a small thing like that, and you did it publicly, like it just shows me, oh, cool, he's getting it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Did you notice something different in you, where you're like, oh, I'm actually shouting out somebody else for giving me an idea?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about you. Yeah, that was different.
That was nice.
Yeah. I can't.
Thank you for thinking of me.
Well, the thing is, like, I would feel guilty for not even saying anything because originally.
Because we had a talk, right?
Costco. No, Costco is shooting in Costco. That doesn't happen.
No, but it looked
often.
really good.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often. I face many challenges, right? Challenges to be creative in the area that's always crowded. So, yeah, I asked you for your ideas, and they're your ideas. So
I'm just saying
I can't take it. So I just take the idea and I put it into action.
Yeah. No, you always do that before. I'm just saying before you just would never give credit, which is awesome. So I like that you're including me, which means that you'll most likely include other people. You've also been vocal in our team page, even though you're busy. And I think you're seeing like, oh, it's a small thing. It's not a big incumbence on your time now to be just a little bit present for other people. So I see that, and you gave a shout out to Jenna, and so you haven't really done that before. So I love that, and it shows me that your compassion is going beyond just what you have to do, or these little actions that you take. They really build up. So I just want to make note of that because I know your love language is words of affirmation.
No.
Yes.
I thought
you're
my love language.
You're always looking for me to go, yee, be.
Oh,
no,
okay.
so your love language to give love is gifts. To give gifts.
Yeah.
You're a gift giver. So, and I receive all those gifts, right? And it's awesome. But your love language to receive love is words of affirmation. Like you like to hear, good job, B, and stuff like that. Like you always want me to like say something. Even though like I don't always like agree, or maybe I'm not even enthusiastic. Like last night you're telling me all this stuff about the gym, and then finally I had to tell you I don't want to hear about it anymore. But like for the whole time that we've been here, it's all gym related, right? Because you want to hear, yee, that's cool, that's exciting. So I get that. But yeah, that's your love language, to receive and to give. So yeah, I just appreciate it. Like I like seeing that you're reaching out and being like you're showing that caring for not just me but for other people too. So I like that.
Cool. I didn't even know that.
It's different. It's very different. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's becoming it's just second nature. It's just developing.
Yeah. Because before
I think that show that you shared to me, Will Smith, I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Really. Do you remember what it was called?
It's called Red Table Talk. Yeah. Amazing.
It was on YouTube, right?
It was on you. It's on Facebook, so it's kind of like this.
Facebook.
So they go directly to Facebook. It's kind of hard to find. I'll link it up so people can check it out because it really triggered a lot of things. Because just to get for me anyway, like just speaking for me, it's difficult to not take things personally. I think my greatest challenge is to not take things personally, and to when I'm hurt and you've already apologized and you've already changed or you've showed me some action, it's hard for me to come back down and be myself again. Like I think that's my ego. My ego is like hurt and it wants to be in defense and it wants to like keep up my shields and everything. And I'm like, that's why every time when you come to me afterwards and like maybe we had a little, argument or whatever, and you can easily be loving, like it's hard for me to be loving back because I'm still hurt, or I'm still like, we call this in there's a Tagalog word, but I won't say it. So we call it
Okay.
like just being like, like, just being a bitch about it. So and that's pride. It's just ego and pride that likes to hold on to that, and I want to work on being better at that, because it's not, because I think it takes so much for you to it takes so much to be forgiving, which you can easily forgive, and then with me, I'm not easily forgiving.
Well,
Would you say so? Like, I'm always like,
I mean, well, it's. I'm not sure it's natural, but I mean that's why I learned in sociology that women hold grudges a lot longer than men.
yeah,
So men kind of just.
yeah. You're like, whatever.
Men's kind, yeah. We just kind of brush it off.
Yeah.
Like when your friend screws you over, like guys just
Yeah.
they don't take it too personally. But
why do you think that is? Is it just because, like, oh, if I take it personally, that means I'm acting like a girl, or I'm being weak about it? Like, even though maybe you're still hurt or you're still thinking about it.
never thought deeply about it. No one asked me.
I'm just
no one asked
asking.
me these questions.
I'm trying to pull Tony on you.
It would be a great. I mean, we're not in that class anymore, but it would be awesome to ask him that.
Maybe. Well, we just ask ourselves that, so we educate ourselves.
Yeah, I do think it's probably with guys not holding grudges. I don't know if that make the guy feel weak. I'm not sure.
I don't know if guys are just okay with not holding grudges, because I would say that even my experience being with you, it's not that you hold a grudge, is that you definitely don't forget. You don't forget when you've been wronged.
Yeah.
I'll forget if it's like whatever. Like if it really didn't affect, I'll actually forget. But you'll actually remember all the things. Like, for example, this podcast. Like, you'll remember that Get in the Lab wasn't as successful as you maybe thought it could be. Or the book that I wrote was not as successful. It didn't sell that many copies.
Oh, I think it was successful.
Or something like that, right? So I would feel your mistrust in terms of, oh, why do that when the past has shown us it wasn't that valuable, right? Or as valuable as, say, making money with wedding photography, right? So I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. I'm just trying to show you what I mean by that. Yeah.
I'm lost.
Why?
I'm not sure where we're going.
Okay. So
it's definitely it's still different. Pass the Aisle is still new to me in a way that Get in the Lab was so structured.
Yeah.
And then the Golden Rule
was too structured.
The Golden Rule wasn't structured, but it was just Tony asking the right questions and everything, and you're just talking freely. Mm-hmm. So now I'm trying to figure out what
this is?
Yeah, Pass the Aisle is. Question? Oh, you just blocked.
Sorry. That's a good question. Yeah. What is Pass the Aisle, and what is it going to become? But I think that freedom it can be kind of scary, and like.
Is it the Golden Rule?
It's not.
It's not. Okay.
It's definitely not, because the Golden Rule.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Okay, here's how I see it, and this is kind of like off the top of my head, even though I have thought about it as well. The Golden Rule is something that Tony and I started, which was basically to it was to talk about our marriages separately, like his marriage with Cindy and mine with yours. And we were both so excited to create content, and we were very comfortable with talking about anything basically on this platform. And then it turned into it initially started out just like this, where we're like, hey, let's share who we are as members of Super Jury Co. But then we're like, oh no, don't attach it to Super Jury Co. And it just became a personal thing where, let's talk about us and what's going on with us. And he would often just hit me with some hard questions, man. Like, the first question was, do you feel free in your marriage? And then, like, from there, I was like, I didn't know I had all these things that I wanted to talk about. Because what he does is that, obviously, he didn't feel free. in his marriage, but he wanted someone to talk to about it, and that I could be that other person. So it just so happened that it worked out that Cindy's kind of like you in terms of the communication and how you take things and how you how you do stuff, and then I'm kind of like Tony in a way, where we like to just be talking free, go deep about our emotions and stuff like that, like go really deep about our emotions. Like there's no, I mean, he's a lot more freer than I am in terms of censoring himself. I still censor myself. So, but he did get me to be very open and honest. We'd even talked about sex on the show, so it was very revealing but very freeing. And so the golden rule was that, like, and we have a different chemistry as friends, like as basically as like kindred spirits in that way. And so that's what I think the golden rule is just for us to talk about our marriages, about life, about how we're perceiving the world, because we're kind of similar in that way, and we're very different in other ways. So so that's what the golden rule is to me.
Okay. I only been on the golden rule twice.
Both very good shows.
Yeah.
We'll link that up as well, because one of the shows was super. I think I talked about this in the Wash episode, but one of the shows we addressed a lot of challenges in our marriage, and I'd love to share that, especially some of the golden nuggets.
Yeah, what'd you get out of the last episode?
The last episode from the golden rule?
Mm-hmm. If you want to share it.
With Tony, so that was like
because now it's our marriage, right? So
yes, so this is different.
This is what Past the Aisle is.
This is different. This is us. Like
us. Okay.
So I think in episode 8 or whatever it was on the golden rule, people got a preview, a hardcore preview, like dive in deep into our marriage and our challenges at that time. And now we're doing it on a consistent basis, and you've given us a weekly schedule, which I think is very aggressive, but I think very is not aggressive but ambitious. It's ambitious, and I think it's only going to make us better. So that's awesome. But the last episode on the golden rule with Tony, it was pretty casual. We didn't go too deep, actually. It was just a lot of him seeing what I had to say about leaving Super, and then I gave a little piece about how we felt about Super. I didn't want to speak for you, so I didn't. And then him saying the challenges of what it means to actually run a business, which is, it's hard. He said it's very hard. And now he's that, yeah, he's just like us. Well, we're a husband and wife couple in business now. I was like, yeah, dude, you're in for a ride, because most of our challenges stem from business. We haven't even had the actual experience of what it was like before doing business together. It's always been
business in our relationship.
Like this.
I don't think. Probably only like 2 months of it.
Maybe 2 months before, and you were like, "Oh, I don't have a second shooter anymore. Do you want to shoot for me? I have a camera." I was like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, here I am. So, so they're in for a ride, and I love that he's going through that, because we go through that, and I'm comforted knowing that they're gonna mirror our experience. I was like, "Oh, cool! You're gonna go through it just like us." And
it's still different in a way. Different in a way.
That's different, for sure.
Different.
They definitely are different in terms of how they want the jobs that they are doing.
The product they're selling. I feel it's two different business, but yeah, the foundation will always.
But you're still working with your wife.
Yeah, you're still
working with your husband. Yeah. And what is that about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for him.
So that's what
we talked about. Okay. So it was a solid hour, and then I had to go pee, and then we got it. Yeah. So I was like, I gotta go out of here. So that was it. So our next show, we were kind of just like we.
I thought it was this week.
Where we go with the flow on the show. We don't really hold each other to a schedule, because we just kind of keep it casual. I know Tony's always down, and he knows I'm always down. It's just a matter of scheduling. So this week was a little bit more difficult. I'm still down to do it. We just had a lot of things going on with the gym and everything. But he knows.
Yeah.
He knows where, when he's ready to go, like when we have the time, it's always good. So
Cool.
yeah, what was the experience for you on the golden rule? You had so many great it was nice to hear so many great things that you thought of the golden rule after you got on.
My experience, yeah, it's just allowing to be free to speak about, like topics that Tony brings up. Yeah, his questions are very deep, and it makes you think about your marriage, about your life, your relationship with your parents, everything. So, yeah, in my experience with it, it allowed me to kind of get things off my chest in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was cool to see in you too. It's kind of like not bittersweet, but like the reason why you came to the golden rule is because we were having problems. We were having problems communicating to each other, right? And we found out that everybody, and this is something that I learned from the Red Table Talk, everybody is operating from a place of hurt. I thought that was so poignant of Jada to say, like, oh yeah, everybody's broken. Or Will Smith said that everybody's broken, and everybody's bringing baggage from their family, from how they were raised, into their own relationship. And when I think back to my main struggles, not think back to, when I think about it right now, my main struggles or challenges as being a wife in a husband and wife business relationship is the fact that I'm always like wanting to please, like notice me. And that's because when I looked at the relationship with my father, it's always like I'm always like his helper. So and I want to be the one to like give you exactly what you need. You need the wrench, I'm like, got the wrench. Like you need the hammer, I got the hammer. Like I want to read your mind as your assistant.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that because
so does that kind of transcribe in a way that how you said, oh, I'm a follower?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's why when you were going through the phase,
Yeah.
which was a solid maybe 2 to 3 weeks or a little bit like that, where you were burnt out and tired, and like I understood that, but I when you were not willing to lead, which was like saying you were not willing to lead me or the marriage or the business, and you were like trying to walk away for a minute because you were just frustrated. I was getting so turned off. I was like, what the hell, dude? Like I'm not attracted to that. Like man up, like lead this company, like lead me, like I will follow you, you know what I mean? And when you were placing it upon me, it was like, yes, I'll lead in my role, don't worry, I can take care of that, but don't ask me to lead in your role, because I cannot do my role and your role. So that's why I was getting frustrated for a little bit, like in these past couple of weeks, as we're getting to that point where, as usual, in November we get burnt out, in my role and your role, which you do a lot, and you're like, I can't take anymore. And I'm like, I don't want to take what's off your plate either, dude. Like I'm doing the best I can over here. And so that's kind of like what I've been like kind of going through in terms of, oh, like, please lead, I will follow you. Like, and I think back to the relationship with my dad, and like I always want to please you, so I want to be the one that can read your mind and support you in what you need support on. Like I feel like I have
yeah, that's
like
really interesting, because me growing up, it felt like I think I was a stubborn kid to my dad and my mom.
You think you were? You were.
Yeah, I were. I mean, I was. Sometimes I'm still.
Like, yes. Yeah.
So maybe that's why a lead. Are leaders stubborn sometimes? Or?
I would think so. They have to be, because you're the one to say, no, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Right? A follower goes, okay. I do that with you all the time.
Yeah.
And there's some things where I'm like, no, absolutely not, or whatever. But for the most part, I'm just like, okay. And we just go for it.
So within our team, who's a follower?
in our team.
Yeah, and who has a leader mentality?
Definitely like before he left us, he was definitely a follower. He was a follower to the T. Just like and nothing outside of that. Like if you're on a spectrum of follower and leader, right? He's on the follower extreme side. So but he could lead when he when it was just him. And he was such a great follower, and I think it's like an Asian thing. But I remember I told you, like, every time I go out with him, when I had to shoot with John, and he's the lead and I'm the second, he just automatically
turns into a follower.
Turns into a follower.
Okay.
And I was like, why? I'm like trying to push him up, right? But it's not his natural state. And of course, if I'm there, I'm the elder. Like, if I think about it deeply, I'm sure he doesn't think about this shit. But I was like, I feel, yeah, it's natural.
Yeah.
I feel like the same thing. If my cousin was there, if Michelle was there, I'm treating her like the elder.
Really?
She is the ate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's the, and I'm always going to think about her that way. Always. Yeah. Even if I get frustrated, or I'm sure John probably got frustrated with me or whatever, but he'll always default to, she's the elder, she taught me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the respect.
Yeah,
Even till the very end, he would ask me, "Oh, is this good?" I'm like, "Don't ask me. Don't do it." And yeah, he would just always like, and I think it was a form of respect that he had for his elders in general, because that's a very Asian thing. That's what I felt anyway. I don't know if he meant that, but
is it an Asian thing, or
I think it's an Asian thing.
Or you think every culture does it?
I don't know about other cultures.
Okay, so I
know in my culture, you respect your elders, and your elder cousins, and you treat them like they're the elder. Like when we were growing up, Michelle was the top. She was the top, and so I feel like he does the same with you. He respects you. It just does what you say, follower, right? Mm-hmm. And there was never any pushback, really. Not to be like. Not to be mean or not to be spiteful, just because it's just respect. That's all it is. That's a very Asian thing. It's just respect your elders no matter what. So I felt that from him, which I always appreciated. Even though I try to be like, go do it. You're free. I'm your second. I would start saying that. I'm your second, dude. Lead me. I would start saying that. And then I think slowly, if he stuck with it, he could get more comfortable with it. But because of our relationship before, maybe it was hard for him. And Jenna has more and more leadership. More leadership. Yeah, she rebels against me sometimes. That's true. Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna do it my way. I do feel that sometimes. All right. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to control you. You let me know how you want to do. I'm gonna ask you, or I'll tell you if things need to be done the way they need to be done. But for the most part, I like that in her, because that's what it takes. You need to be a leader. To be a lead. Yeah. Just like you. You're like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. Like, you don't see anything outside sometimes. Tunnel vision, yeah. But sometimes you need that. And in a lot of ways, I respect that. I admire that, because
that's the only way you can stay focused.
Yeah, like for your career, throughout the whole KOV career, before, you didn't look at anybody. You know what I mean? You didn't look at anyone. You're like, all right, cool. I see where you're like, you could see it on Facebook or something. But never did you go like look at somebody's work and be like, oh man, this is how they like. No, you just went, you know what you like. And over time, you just started to improve it. And that's why I was like, okay, cool. So whoever comes into lead, Jenna's our lead right now. I want her to do the same thing.
Just take off and go.
Like, I can give her references. I give her references of your work all the time. And she just always surprises me with really good decision-making skills and leadership skills.
I saw her read the book that Qual gave to her. Right?
Yeah.
So that's great.
That's cool.
I never read books. So.
Yeah. I mean, you have some books.
I never flipped it open.
But you're like, you just probably look at the pictures and you can go, cool, I get what you're doing. You don't have to read shit.
Yeah, you don't have to read stuff.
Yeah, you just look at it and you're like, oh, I see what you did there. Which is, that's all that anybody else does also. So, but yeah.
Yeah. It was funny how we first started way back in the day when I picked up a photography 101 book that shows you how to start a business in
I
photography.
think we have it, or you have Fast Track to Photography. Remember that book?
I
Fast
remember
Track.
that one. That one's more inspirational.
Yeah.
The other one was like a cookie cutter, like dummies in a way, right?
Yeah. For dummies or something.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
It
That's cool.
was good.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
got us
nothing
here.
wrong with reading books, B.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just taking the time to read it.
Never read books. Oh, we have somebody here in the chat. How long have you guys been together? Yeah, so we have somebody in the chat. Every now and again, I'll come back into the chat, but for the most part, I want to just have a conversation with you. So STR says hello. Got the bell on. Cool, thanks STR. Got the bell on means they have notifications on, so that they get
okay.
notified of our show every time.
Cool.
How long have you guys been working together?
We've been working together for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
And we've been married for 3 years.
3 years that we're celebrating.
Our third anniversary next week.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas.
We're going to Vegas.
Just say this again. RAR, right?
No!
Oh, man, I always mess it up. What is it?
R and R.
R&R. Man.
Or
okay.
RAR.
Oh, my God.
This will just become a running joke on the show. We're going to do some RAR.
What does it stand for?
R&R, rest and relaxation.
Okay, I'll just say rest and relax.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to rest and relax and take a break. It was so nice to have a break. I just came back from a little break with my parents. We did a little like Thanksgiving. And I was in a bad mood yesterday in the morning for nothing really. I think I'm tired, or I think I'm just being irritable, or I don't know. I was tired. I was tired because I didn't get a lot of sleep. And
I mean, that gets you
Yeah.
when you don't get a lot of sleep.
I just kept waking up every like 2 to 3 hours because I was sore from moving all the stuff in the gym. And then like if you dig down deep into that, I'm like, this gym, man, is like meh. Like prioritizing the gym. And I just like want to break, and like I didn't get my shit done in the gym yet, and I'm like being just irritable about it.
But let's dig in deeper then.
Yeah. So I don't like saying this stuff because it seems spiteful, and I think that's my challenge. That idea always gets in my head as to why I don't communicate correctly the first time. So,
let it all out. It's
so
cool.
for example, I will do things because my love language to show love is acts of service. Number one, acts of service. Just do shit for you. So when I do stuff like clean up the garage or do all the things, and I think about how you're gonna, like even your tools, organizing your tools. Like I'm like, oh my God, I know he's gonna maybe give me like, why did you take out my tools from my case and why did you throw it away? I'll be like, well, if I have to learn how to explain it, then won't say anything. So I just take out all the tools and I organize it, I label it, and I just think about all these little things to make sure that you see what I'm saying, that it is better for you. Because I know you're gonna give me pushback.
No,
why do you throw it away? What is this? What is this here for? And it's always in a tone like that. And I'm like, so I always have to prepare myself to pitch you, to sell you on why this is a better idea. So I do stuff like that, right? Cool. And then when we go to do the gym,
was it the squat rack?
The squat rack, but then my little punching bag thing. So I've been wanting to get this shit for a year now. And then I do all that stuff, but then when I want to set up my thing, the one thing in there, it's still up to me to do it. Like I still need help with it. I still need to set it up and all this stuff. Like where am I going to set it up? And it always feels like the priority goes to your things versus mine. So I don't want to be spiteful or be like tit for tat or keep score or you got this so I get this. I don't want that. I just want to maybe wake up one day too and be like, oh, cool, you set up my punching bag. That's what I would like. Oh, cool, like you made space for me in your gym. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're like, oh yeah, maybe you can have it over there. Like you did always talk about it the night we were setting up everything late and we were hungry and all that stuff. You're like, oh, maybe you can have your thing over here. But that was it. Whereas I feel like I'm taking, see, I don't want to say it like, oh, I'm doing more. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just want it to be included in your mind when you're thinking about the gym versus it's like, oh, look what I got for me. Look what I got for me. Oh, look what I got on Amazon for me.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that you handle a lot of new shiny things.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
New,
to think about
technology.
like, yeah, it's like so exciting that you, I think for myself to be like, then I'm like stuck in that tunnel vision again.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about that new item. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's why I get turned off sometimes, because even though I know you want me to go, ooh, good job, be cool, that's a great thing, and I do that for you. But then it turns into like 24/7 of that, and then I start to shut off. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Now I'm already mad because I didn't tell you, like, okay, because I don't have a natural nurturing tone or soul where I'm like, okay, like we've talked about your gym for a very long time, okay? So maybe you can make some room in your brain for what I'm doing over here. I don't have that yet. I would like to, and maybe me saying that right here on the podcast is going to make me a lot better about doing that. But and that's my hope, but I just naturally don't incline that way. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about your gym anymore. That's how I feel in my brain. Right? So that's all I have to say about that.
But hey, when you say it straight up, I do stop.
I know.
And sometimes I don't.
Sometimes you don't. You keep going. And I'm just like, I try to be as.
But then I try to hold it.
I know, and it's just like bursting out of you.
And then I guess I'll just go towards my office here. And
then you go away, and then you go look up more stuff for your gym. I'm crazy. Like, all right, didn't get it. But I don't want to be so direct all the time. Like I said before in the car, right? Mm-hmm. If you're like, oh, just tell me, right? I'm like, yeah, I could just tell you. But at the same time, what I said in the car before, when we were heading to the freaking Filipino store, I was like, dude, if I just tell you all the time, I feel like your mom, and I feel like you're not taking responsibility for your words, your actions, how you feel. So now it's up to me to not only manage my own emotion and my own perception of how I'm receiving you, but to manage you. And that in turn feels like the business again, where it's like, when you didn't want to lead. And I'm like, oh, why? That's not who I, want to be with. That's not why I'm attracted to you or with you, is because you don't want to do the things that you said you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Right? Same thing with me. I don't want to ever go back to being really quiet and non-communicative like before, when you were like, oh, we can talk about it. I'm like, oh, really? Long time ago, right? Yeah. Where I would just bottle up and not tell you why I'm angry. And you're like, oh, we could actually talk about it. Like, you were very calm and very patient and forgiving. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So I don't want to ever go back to that. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, like, I don't want you, I always want you to better yourself for you. And that's who I love. That's who I want to support. But it gets very frustrating. I know that's not going to be all the time, because you can't always just be, oh, I'm going to be the leader all the time. I know it's very human to get tired. But I'm just saying, like, that was just my response. It's just like, that's why I get turned off, or I get frustrated with the behavior. Not with you, just with the behavior. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's just, for me, and my responsibility in this marriage, and as we're going into our 3rd year, And you even mentioned bringing out our vow books.
We bring it out every year.
Yeah, which I was like, oh, thank you.
It's like a vow renewal.
Yeah, thank you.
Privately.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because even my mentor told me this too. He's like, this is what you said yes to. When I was so frustrated, and he was like, this is what you said yes to. You can't back out of this. I was like, he's just telling me all the things I don't want to hear, but I need to hear. And he's like, this is what you said yes to. Easy. I was like, yeah, it is easy. So as we go into our third year, like, I want to be better at that in this coming year, or from now on, from right now, not just because it's in a book, but because I notice it in myself, which is to be, not to think of just me too. In those times when we have a fight, then I think of just me. When all the times before we have a fight, I'm like, we, us, our, la, la. But then when you have a fight, I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm like, I turn the switch, and I don't want to think like that. If we have a fight, I want to be like, okay, we're having a fight. How do we come through it? Or how do we be better? That's how I want to be, instead of my natural reaction is to be like, I'm out of here. Or I want to escape. Or like I started thinking about I. Which Jeff noted in me in my language. And I was like, oh, damn. And that's unconscious too. So, yeah, as we go into our third year of marriage, I want to start updating our books too, because I think I have some space in there.
What books?
Our vow books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like add stuff, because when you first get married, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of know, but you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
it's a dream. It's a fantasy when you're getting married, and it's like, oh wow, pretty. That's another thing I learned from Will Smith too. He's like, when you get married and you have an idea of marriage, he's like, it's a fantasy. It's a dream. It's like, it's the ideal version of this cartoon that you have in your head. And like me, I'm so romantic. Like, I grew up on Disney movies, so I think it's, supposed to be all like this and whatever. I have that in my brain all the time. I'm like, oh, romantic. But that's not what it is. And what he was saying in that Red Table Talk, he was like, marriage is smashing that fantasy. It's the good stuff too, but it's like, it's realizing, hey, you're with somebody for life. And what are you going to do to make sure that you are the best person that you can be for you? Because it's for life. Like, well, what are you going to do? Like, be shittier, be worse? So the alternative is just so ugly and unattractive, and like, oh, yeah. But there's so many relationships that you see on the exterior, like, oh, wow, they did not keep up with each other, or they didn't tend to their garden. He always makes that analogy, tending to your garden, like taking care of it. Like our freaking plants, man. The moment I'm like inattentive, then they start to go.
Yeah, well, they went pretty quickly because of our water sucks around here.
Yeah, so that wasn't all my fault, okay? So, but yeah, you want to make sure they have good water, right? And they have good sunlight, and they have space, and they're not crowded. So plants are very much like people. And he made that analogy. I was like, wow, that's really telling. So it's just like with us, like, I don't want to control you. I just want to support the best version of you. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh, so emotional. So because that's all I want to do. Even when you're hurt, that's all you really want to do, I think, in a marriage.
Yeah, it's always important to be. What's different between like our marriage versus a regular marriage is that we work together and we're always around each other. Well, not 24/7, but I would say like more than most couples.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always important to be your best version in business and also in marriage.
Yes. So
And it's always on.
it's always on.
It's always on
You're
because
talking about the business.
I'm talking about personal life and business life. It's like it's always on.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
It's
Being
a lot.
always on.
It's yeah, it's a lot.
It's overwhelming.
And it's not overwhelming. You just need to really ease into it. Like you just can't jump from A to Z. Nothing's going. Yeah, all your problems that you have from the past, and if it keeps reoccurring, it's not going to be fixed within a day.
Yeah.
So you just need to keep working on yourself.
Yeah.
Just like
Us.
the gym. You gotta work on yourself if you want that great body. So
Yeah.
you gotta work on the relationship every day.
Yeah.
Just like what Tony always says, at least you're doing a change. 1% is better than nothing. So
1%. Yeah.
yeah.
He says that all the time. 1% better. That's it. That's all you need to be.
mhm.
And I was like, thank you. Because you feel like if ever you have like a challenge, it's like, oh man, there's so much that needs to change.
Yeah. Other things is about the business. You got business challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And then alongside with the business challenge, you're working with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to communicate in a way that she understands. You have to speak her language. She has to speak. She has to try to speak your language. So there's a lot of things like psychologically that you have to think of.
Psychologically, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
In all aspects. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it's different. And that's why I'm trying to put a pin on it. It's yeah, like all these years, it's our marriage is very complex.
Yeah.
Because we also work together.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know how that is. Like
Yeah.
they think it's also like what a dream in a way. It's
Kinda,
a fantasy.
a fantasy.
Oh, you get to work with your wife. Isn't
Yeah.
that awesome?
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Yeah. Like I love talking to my wife, and it's awesome to be able to work together, see more of each other, get up and go out and eat, and
Yeah.
spend more time together,
Yeah.
right? And but along with that, there's always a yin and yang with it.
Yeah.
Is communication. Yeah.
The communication. Like they say that everywhere. It's on every meme, right? But there's so much to the communication. And then I feel like I was writing down in my notes, and even though we've been working together for 10 years, and we've known each other for about 10 years, I still feel like I'm getting to know you so many ways. Like this year was just so telling. There's so much that you didn't share with me before. And but I never asked, right?
Mhm.
So it was like that was great that Tony showed both of us that we can ask questions.
Yeah.
That we can ask the questions, and it's okay to ask the questions, and not to feel so attached to our own judgment, I think, because I think that's what keeps us from asking questions sometimes, or like inquiring or not communicating, is like there's this weird judgment that we have on ourselves, like, oh, is this weird that I'm asking you? Is this weird that I'm like even bringing this up?
Uh-huh.
You know, whatever, like bringing up the relationship with your father, or bringing up, I always feel pensive about that, even though before I was like, oh, that's interesting. Your relationship with your mom,
Uh-huh.
or with your dad, right? It's very different from my parents. Not to say that mine's perfect. No, absolutely not. Like there's just so much baggage that we unconsciously carry from our parents.
And their personalities as well is different.
All the good and
Yeah.
all the bad, you know. So
You met. I mean, you know both of them really well and how they are.
yeah. And I go, oh, that's why. So it gives me a lot of like insight
Uh-huh.
into the way that you see things, and it's very different sometimes. And so I feel like this year that it and yeah, we've only known each other 3 years, and like I was listening to the Red Table Talk, and Will and Jade have been married for 23 years.
That's long.
And
Wow.
only that year they were saying that they started to feel better about being themselves in a marriage, in their
Oh, wow.
marriage. Wow, like what the fuck? I was like, what? Like, I don't want to wait 23 years to break through some of the challenges that we have together. There are so many times I feel like I think it's so easy for spouses in general to be quiet because they have a successful life. Like, on the outside they have a house, they have a car, they have children, they're both healthy, both parents are alive or whatever. Like, everything on the outside is okay, it's good. Like, why are you complaining? But then internally they're not truly authentic with themselves, which means they can't be truly authentic with each other. And like I was like, oh wow, I feel like that's us sometimes, because we have this machine of KLV that is established, right? We have the weight of that, and it's very powerful what it demands from both of us. We're like, the business, you gotta do it for the business. What did my master say? He was like, for the business. You gotta do it for the. You always think about the business. So he was crazy.
It seems like it's an adolescent. Like,
yeah,
the business is like
it's our baby, and everything is for the baby.
It's not a baby anymore. I feel like
or the
it's growing up, and it's
the preteen.
It's almost a preteen.
It's
yeah,
a preteen. Yeah,
it's like retaliating.
Yeah, it's 10 years old.
Yeah, it's like retaliating and getting into
rebelling.
trouble and stuff. And I'm like,
it lies to me.
Yeah.
Freaking you lied to me. Yeah, you freaking
lied
to me. You lied to me,
fake inquiries. That's the rebellious.
Yeah,
side.
dude. Man, what the hell? WordPress.
Fix that.
WordPress always fucking it. Oh man. So yeah, like the business. It's like we had a baby before we even got married, and we always had to tend to this baby.
Yeah.
And like now, finally, that the baby's like 10 years old. Now we can look at each other and like go, oh yeah, you're over there doing your thing. Like, oh yeah, like you're hurting or you're happy or you're sad or whatever. Like, to just be considerate of each other, because now we know, hey, the business can run. Cool. So we don't have to. I think we're sometimes get stuck in that survival mode. Like, oh, I gotta answer. Oh, I gotta do this. Like, always prioritize. And I found myself doing that yesterday, trying to be present with my family, but I was still like answering emails, and because
really,
I was doing it. And I was like, and then I was like, oh shit, stop that.
Yeah.
You know? So I put my phone away and just use it for taking pictures. But in the beginning, I was answering emails.
Wow.
Because I'm excited that Jenna's getting reviews, and Jenna's getting you know, she's getting some good credit and stuff like that, and I want people to see that.
Yeah.
And also to see my work with her too, that and it's succeeding, and in turn you can see it. Right? So it always kind of comes back to, I
saw
like,
it, yeah.
Senpai, notice me. You know, like so that's why I was doing it, but I was like, oh crap, I need to be present with my family right now. And so I put it away. But yeah, this baby has been so demanding of both of us. And now that we're like saying it on the podcast, like, can we be more present with each other? Set up a business that it doesn't run us, that we run it.
Yeah.
And that's stuff I've always
just like let the money work for you versus working for the money.
Exactly. And that's our push right now. And my mentor was saying, oh yeah, that's going to happen at that income that we make right now. It's typical of that income. And
we're stuck in the middle.
We're stuck kind of in the middle. It's not that we're suffering or that we're hurting or nothing like that.
It's the challenging area.
Yes, it's challenging to be able to take that next step. That next step's just a little bit higher than the other steps that we've climbed. So it's a little bit of a stretch.
A lot of ladders.
We climbed a lot.
I felt like climbing to the heavens or something, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He just read you like a book. He's so good with it though. But he was like, dude, like, you have to think about where he's coming from, which is you've already built this, and it's good. It's very good. It's provided this, right? And now you're asking to build to more. How does that feel? You know, I was like, okay, Like I get it, but like, and I was telling him, yes, I understand that, but how can you want more when you don't want to give more?
Yeah,
right?
That's a challenge.
So that's a challenge. So that's been kind of the root of our like push and pull whenever we have a about business primarily, and then it bleeds into our personal life, obviously. So it's like, how do we grow past this? And then we're always saying, oh yeah, it's the growing pains and everything, but then sometimes you have human moments where you're like, I don't want to deal with the growing pains, man. I want to take ibuprofen and lie in the bed.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be numb to, like, give me a break.
I'm very curious. So he went through it.
Yes.
In the middle.
Yes.
He was stuck in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see, like, I want to learn how he surpassed that middle.
You know what he told me?
What did he say?
What he says to his clients and what he told himself and what he told me.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you're being a bitch, man up, and do it.
Uh-huh.
He told me that. And I was like,
do what, though? Do what?
Do the work. You know what you have to do. I know what we have to do in terms of managing, in terms of leading in your expertise. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to decide what you want to charge. You need to decide what services you want. That's what I've been asking you to put forward to me. I'm like, you let me know, and I will make that happen. I will communicate that to your clients. No problem. I have no problem doing that. And it's just a matter of like letting go of that old self, like that old business model. It worked. And that's why he said that's why it's so hard for people to let it go, because it worked. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? That's the phrase.
Yeah, but you have
to break it.
You have to break it again.
It's like Will and Jada, they were like, dude, we had to destroy our marriage, right? Talked about that. You heard that part. We had to destroy our marriage so that we could make room for a new one, which we don't even call marriage anymore. We just call life partnership.
Yeah.
They don't call themselves married. They call themselves life partners.
That's very interesting. Yeah, it's like our Snap It Fancy. It's ground zero right now. We destroyed and we're not using the old machine anymore.
Right.
We got a new one. And now, even though it's brand new and everything, our ideas, like, people want to hop on it and like rent it out, but no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient. Gotta market it.
Gotta build.
You gotta build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One by one.
It's not gonna happen overnight.
One brick at a time. Yeah. But I think we have a great start, just because we're wiser and we have some experience versus 10 years ago. Of course, we didn't know anything, right? We were so naive, and at that time we had those challenges. And at this time, we have these challenges, which are more complex, but it's because we have 10 years of experience and working together and ups and downs and all that stuff.
Yeah, I still can't, like, put a finger on how we did it back in the day, where the photo booth was not a software and we were actually shooting it. Or you were shooting it, and then we bought this little dinky printer that it was the size of your palm.
It took 2 minutes.
Yeah, it took 2 minutes, and there was a huge line. Oh man, it was crazy.
But they still hired us, and we still did our thing.
Yeah.
And that's just what it was.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you let us. You know, like before, I didn't question anything. I didn't say anything. I just did what was asked of me.
It's different now, because now we have a team.
Right.
And then each team member speaks a different language.
Yes.
So now you kind of have to switch your brain from speaking to this person, right? Differently. In a way that they can understand and best serve the leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
And best serve the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So and that's all it is. Yeah. That's what I discovered earlier this year too. I was like, oh, that's when I learned, oh, John is not a communicator. Or Jenna is a communicator. Or I'm not a very good communicator either. Let's see how we can fix that.
And Qual's a communicator.
Qual's a communicator, yeah.
Marcus is not. Marcus is very similar to John.
Yeah.
And Georgia's
Georgia.
And Twan is our new.
Twan's new, yeah.
New.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're learning, you know.
Yeah, we're learning.
And when we're building this team now, it's a great reflection. Like you said, the business is a reflection of yourself.
It is.
And when I saw that, oh, we have a broken system, it's because we were broken.
Yeah, it's like what you feed your body, right? You're gonna
Mhm.
feed it lettuce and low fat meat and whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna look good, right?
Yeah.
But we're feeding our business and we're neglecting it. We're saying we're not leading our team well, then it's gonna reflect.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it took a lot for us separately to realize that,
Yeah.
to acknowledge our responsibility or our contribution negatively in the business too, not just the positive stuff, because all the things that we were doing that wasn't helping us,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to acknowledge that we were doing that. Okay, cool. That's okay. I see what I've been doing wrong.
So everything that we've been speaking about so far,
Yeah.
it's crazy to know how complex owning
It's
a
a lot.
business is,
It's a lot.
right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's very complex when you start going down the list of what you do every day.
When you go deeper, deeper, deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it was second nature to you now, but it wasn't second nature when you first started.
I know.
But it was crazy to get here.
Yes.
To have a formula, to have a system. Although it can be broken in certain aspects, but still, you still have a system in place, and it, we continuously been doing it.
Yeah.
We just never listed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I started to understand as we broke everything down is that we just need to have people work for us, more hands, and I know we always speak about it to break it up into jobs, but then there's always like the checks and balance of does it make sense based on how much we have, right? What can we live without and what can we do now?
Right.
And you said the first thing is to have our own in-house editor.
Yeah.
Right. So that will free up a little bit more time to allow myself or Jenna to keep on photographing and be better photographers. That's where we can, always challenge ourselves to be the best photographer for an event.
How are you doing with that?
So now that I'm finished with all my edits,
yeah,
it's time to start recording my new tactics of how I approach each shot with different lighting and everything, and
cool.
Train the editors. Yeah. So
I'm ready for you. I'll pick the images. Yeah.
So, but before our anniversary, there's many things to do.
Yeah.
So many things
as
to
always.
do. Yeah. If you see our calendar, it's pretty crazy as well.
You have a crazy calendar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it's about. Like, I was telling somebody before when I tested the live, somebody came on and chatted with me. Shout out to you. That was cool. Where I was talking about marriage, and the marriage in itself is a business. It's an agreement between us saying we're for each other.
And being a citizen, you're
for life.
A citizen in America, you're working for America.
Yeah. Well, their way to track us, but whatever. But anyway, it's like two businesses. So we have our marriage, which is like a business, and then we have our real business, and it's the most challenging and the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life. So for everything that is like challenging and hard and all that stuff, it's going to be equally as awesome and rewarding and fulfilling and satisfying. And so I think when it's nice to remind myself, because I'm so easy to be not forgiving, and to help myself be more forgiving is to realize that the downs are equally as, or the ups are or the downs are equally as powerful as the ups. Like to remember that it will go up when we have moments of down. and not to quit when things are down.
Yeah, I mean that's
To
business
always,
for sure.
yeah, to always hold out for the up because it's
Mhm.
coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming.
But the thing is, what happens in the downs, you don't like. I have a talent for not seeing the up. I'm ready to I'm just so cut off.
Mhm.
But and I'm like, I wonder why I default to that. And like I'm ready to bail, and I don't want to be. I want to feel more supported in that. I could see the light or I could see the up. Like trust more that the up will be there
Mhm.
instead of like you asked me, well, why did you talk to Jeff or why did you talk to Tony? I was like, well, because I don't know what to do. I was like,
But
well, you're being
I
a little
feel like these
dramatic.
yeah, these you need these challenges in business.
You need it, yeah.
If you don't have it and everything is always perfect, there's no motivation to make it better
Yeah.
because you think it's good already.
Right.
Yeah. And I think I felt that way. I was like so comfortable when John was always my second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, John's
good.
gonna be there.
Yeah.
John's gonna be there. And yeah, I was so comfortable for like a year or two.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys were just like, I never heard anything.
Yeah.
For 2 years, I was just like,
And we made it happen.
must be perfect over there.
we never fought. We never got into arguments.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like,
because he's a follower. You
Yeah.
know? So,
and I knew what we needed to do, and yeah.
right.
But then, yeah, challenges. Then I started seeking challenges.
How
And
did you
that's-
seek it?
I got into Coverve. I needed
Oh.
challenge or something. I feel
That's
like
why.
I think everything is so stable that let's start something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And there, it was a huge challenge that I wasn't prepared for.
Covert.
I
yeah.
thought it was easy that, oh yeah, it's photography related as well. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I didn't like the community aspect of it. Business to business is definitely not
Commuting or community?
the community.
Community.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of
Oh, the commercial
commercial
market.
the
Got it.
commercial, the target market for commercial photography. It's so broad.
Yeah. It's not specialized. It's not.
Yeah,
Doesn't feel personal.
and I feel when you're dealing with more business, they get more picky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah.
When it's B2B.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm done with that. So now going into SJC, it was a 180, right?
Yeah.
And at this time, I was like, I was thinking about the future.
Yeah.
That, yeah, the service base, like, how is my body going to work 40 to 50 weddings a year
Yeah.
when I'm 50?
Yeah.
Or when I'm 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's 50, still kicking.
Yeah, I mean, that's my goal, is that I'm going to still be kicking.
Yeah, because you
Wow.
got a bomb ass gym now,
I'm
right?
going to be working. I mean, I've been working out since January, and it's still hard for me to wake up early. I woke up late today.
Yeah. You
but
like to sleep
man,
in.
I was just freaking tired.
Yeah.
So I needed it.
Yeah.
And if my body says that, I'm gonna let it rest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I woke up fresh, and then I.
It's
head to
only
the gym.
you
Yeah.
saying if you gotta wake up
Yeah.
or not.
But I did want to keep that routine, and that freaking daylight savings messed everything up.
Daylight savings retarded.
I felt it did mess my schedule up like crazy.
Just wake up at 6 no matter what.
But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still challenging.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Is that we always need challenges. Waking up 5:30 in the morning just to work out is a challenge.
But I feel like those challenges of what we're doing now, they've always been there. Why now are you willing to?
Because now
take them
now the challenge is back.
But I've been putting these challenges on your plate before.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
What changed?
We're more focused. I mean, we're
more focused or you're more focused?
or I'm more focused because there's nothing else anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm back in.
You're back in.
And John left.
John left. Yeah.
So there's no There's no
That was a big upset.
forgiveness.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. No safety net.
There's no safety net. Yeah.
Gotcha. I see. Yeah, I think John leaving was a big, a drastic change that everybody needed. Him more than anything. So, not just thinking about us.
Now we know what to expect. It's going to happen every 6 years.
You wish, man. It's probably every year, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think it was a reflection, not only for himself to make a decision for himself, to really like, this is what I want to do. Cool. But it was a big reflection too. I want to make note of like on us. Like, how are we as leaders? How did we do in terms of creating opportunity, creating a workspace that was fun to be in, that was fulfilling? Did we do that? I don't know. Maybe. He'll always tell us what we want to hear. You're never going to get, I think, an honest, brutal answer from him. He's always going to, out of respect, he's going to tell you what you want to hear.
I think the difference for working with us is that, like he was editing from home. That's the flexibility. He didn't have to drive out anywhere.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't used to it, he would say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not used to this. It was like, I don't have anyone to talk to. It's like a little different.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's different. Yeah.
He likes to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have where we can meet up in-house at our studio. We do have a studio, but
we don't work there.
Yeah, we don't work there. We don't convert it that way. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was a great eye-opener for how we could be better leaders in the future or right now. Because he's officially left us in somewhere in Texas, you told me. Alabama. Yeah. So I think it was a great lesson to be like, okay, how can we do better? And I feel like we're doing better with Jenna to make it somewhere where they don't want to leave, but also, and I'm trying to keep people here, but just like I want to make it the best experience that I can do, and know that I can, if I'm aware of something that I can improve, that I'll actually do it.
Yeah. Versus
before, it's like, oh, this needs to change, and then we didn't, or I didn't do anything about it. So
sometimes I feel like in our company we need someone like Tony to, comfort the team.
Well, I mean, comfort how?
Like, hey, what you up
motivate
to today?
You.
Yeah, motivator. Like, hey, what you up to today?
Yeah.
Let's go out. Let's go eat, or let's do something. Hey, what you doing? Like, you need help with anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
So someone's always there calling up like all the team
He can't
members.
do that.
No, I'm
his
saying,
own business.
I'm saying if there's someone
like that.
Like that.
You want to hire a professional cheerleader?
But I feel like in every business there is that person that always kind of seals the team together.
Oh, I see.
To build that culture. And that's always a challenge, is because now we're doing multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can't be that way because we're stuck.
Right.
Doing, we're out there, or you're here,
right,
and you have other things to do.
Right. We're not cheerleaders. We're definitely not campaigners. That's the personality trait, is a campaigner who's a cheerleader for others.
Yeah.
I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm like a John type, actually. I think John and I are similar in that, where it's like, chin up, head down, go do the thing. Okay, you asked me to do it, I'm going to do it. But I don't know. That's the life of an entrepreneur. A lot of people say it's very lonely because there is no cheerleader. Right. What it is. I think that's a comfort.
It doesn't need to be that way.
And a luxury to have somebody like Tony. And you do. You always have Tony. He's right next to you, If you need somebody and I asked you before, it was like, you need somebody to help you with your stress. Whether we come on here and talk or whatever. But you need somebody to talk to. You need other friends besides me.
Yeah.
And I need other friends besides you too.
Yeah.
I always think about myself. I'm like, why don't I have more girlfriends?
Yeah.
That's my fault. And
Well, they
so
reached out to you, but
they
you never
do, but
go.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm more akin to talking to male friends, just because for the life of my existence, I've always easily made male friends. It's easier for me because I'm like a boy on the inside. So like it's good. You have somebody who can motivate you, because I can't speak to you in that way. We've always talked about that. I was like, I don't speak that language. I can do many things for you, which I'm supposed to. Cool, that's my role. But I don't think we should place the burden of on our partners to be everything for us.
Oh yeah.
And I heard this in a podcast somewhere, where it's like, we have this such romantic idea in modern society, which makes no sense, is to place all of this pressure on the other person for them to make you happy, when in the end you are responsible for your own happiness. And yesterday when I was in a bad mood, I was like, why am I in a bad mood? Only I can get myself out of this mood. And slowly started to have conversation with myself and let go and have fun and be present with Jenna, because I was still in a bad mood when I was in the morning, and she noticed it. She's like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know, I think I'm just tired or something. And then slowly I started to let go and be fun and crazy and hyper.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like in the end you are the only person who can make yourself happy. And when others can serve you in that way, that's great. But I think it's very unfair if you place it upon other people to make you happy. So I think it's important for us to make note of that. For me in particular, I don't want to place that upon you. And same thing,
Yeah.
don't expect me to be everything for you too. Whereas I think you have a dependency on me for some weird things, which I don't think you should. Like talking to Steve about what you want done.
Yeah.
When you ask me for all these trees that are falling down, like, you go do that. It always bothers you, or the windows or what. I'm like, why are you telling me? I don't see that shit. You do it. You know what I mean? Or what, those things that will make you, for whatever reason, that will make you happy when you see clean windows.
Yeah.
Okay? Go handle it.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to I don't expect you to buy me video games, because they make me very happy. So I just go buy them, right?
Yeah.
I don't place upon you. I don't wait for you anymore. If I want something, I'll just go get it. I know. So that and I only learned that this year. What the heck? I feel like I have to wait for you to be like, oh, I have to wait for my daddy to go buy me. So I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? So same thing with you. You don't need to place upon me and wait for me on everything that you want in your life. I'm here to support your best life. And I just want the same from you.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. So I'll call you out, hopefully in a nice way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nicer about it.
Okay.
I'm trying to be nicer about it. Sometimes, like, I don't say stuff fast enough, so I'm already mad. So I have to catch myself quicker, so that I don't get mad. And then if I do get mad, to come back down and be forgiving quicker. Like you are. You've been quicker to change, and right away be like, you right.
Because I don't want to waste time.
I know.
Let's get this done.
No, yeah. I would think that too. Like, I'll be doing the dishes mad, and I'm like, why am I wasting time being mad? I would think that. But for whatever reason, my pride is very strong. Like, your mind is very strong at convincing you to keep you in that state of angry or mad or whatever. And it's just a very powerful thing, your mind.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Mind is very powerful.
Very powerful to convince you of some things. So in the same way, it's hard to convince me too of like, oh, you shouldn't be mad anymore. I'm like, but I still am.
The mind's a devil.
The devil. So.
But yeah, this is the show.
This is the show. Yeah. That I like that. It was good. Cool. Yeah. I feel like I talk too much.
No, that's great.
So. I just have a lot to say. I feel that way with Tony too, and he's always reassuring me like, it's okay.
Keep going.
But I want to hear more from you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, you know, you've always been really good at. You read all these books and you're really educated on.
I'm just more articulate.
Yeah. You see things.
I pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm like sometimes like
Yeah.
or yeah, you know.
But it's
I'm
not
here.
that you don't care, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
I had to ask you. Still care? Yeah. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I care.
Well, that's good because I would assume.
But I'm just not like articulate like that, and I'm not a verbal
That's okay.
person about it.
No
Yeah.
judgment from me.
Yeah.
I like that you're listening before you would interrupt me.
Mm-hmm.
Or you would be like defending yourself, which I get. You know, it's a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've been much more like just listening, which is great. And we learned that from Tony, because he's a very good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
You have anything else you want to add?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the show now?
Feels good.
How it's evolving?
Yeah, I feel like it just evolved in this one right here.
Yeah, it did. I think in every show that's what it's gonna do. I think the golden rule was like that. Every show it got crazier
Just
and
get
deeper
better
and better and better
Yeah.
and better. Yeah, Tony's phrase. So, in a couple days, we're heading off to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do some R&R.
Yeah.
R&R.
R&R. Okay.
We're gonna do a little vow renewal. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back refreshed
And then relax more.
and relax more. Yeah. Or take some time and then do another show when we get back. We won't do a show when we're out there, but every Thursday, if we're not doing anything crazy, we'll be here.
Yeah.
On Past the Aisle.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to be structured. Yeah, we can say thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in with us. If you were
Yeah.
live with us, we appreciate that you're here. We've got like more than 50 likes on the new page. I wanted to tell you that it was picking up steam, and people. I wanted to tell you also that people are genuinely interested.
Cool.
In this, and I was like I was saying, that people are craving an authenticity about things, and that's what I love. I still listen to podcasts. I'm very much into podcasts. I love to hear just a real conversation. I want to know more about that creator. Mm-hmm. And so I think it would be cool for people to get to know you more as you open up and I let you talk more.
No, it's fine.
I'm quiet more. But, you know, this is my therapy.
I probably will be speaking about the gym too much. You'll be like, all right.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll just say any gym talk is an allegory to our marriage. Yeah. Just take it as a metaphor. Rock
climbing, and we used to tailor that to our marriage.
Yeah.
So,
business,
that's true.
That's true. So. But my intention is to be better so that we can rock climb again for sure. Because I did really enjoy that. It is really good.
I did think about building a rock wall.
I saw that in Pinterest.
But I was like,
well, where are you going to go?
No, but it's like, yeah, you can make it challenging.
Oh, like a bouldering.
Yeah. It's just bouldering.
It's all inverted.
I don't want to get freaking mats. No more mats. Yeah.
We don't have any room for it anyway, though. You could put it right here on the wall.
Nah, don't give me ideas.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank you for joining here.
Thank you.
I'm past the aisle. My hair's all crazy. We're gonna go
eat.
Okay, eat. Yeah.
Right.
Guys wants to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And stop.